I'm going to show you how to create a new real-time Delphi. First thing you want to do is make sure that you're logged in. You can't create a Delphi if you're not logged in. To get to the real-time Delphi page, move your cursor up to participate and click on real-time Delphis. When you get to this page, you'll see a listing of real-time Delphis that you're a part of. If you haven't dealt with them before, there won't be anything here. I'm an administrator, so I have a lot of them. Let me just show you first what you can do from this page. This create new RTD button obviously creates a new RTD. Down here you'll get a list of RTDs that you're the administrator of, RTDs you're a participant in, and others. Clicking on these links will take you to participate in the RTDs. But over here where it says edit, clicking on these will take you to a page where you can edit the RTDs. So if you're creating an RTD, over here is where you'd be clicking in order to change it. So I'm going to create a new one. Click create new RTD. You're going to be asked to name it. I'm just going to name it this. Yes for your title. Then you'll be asked for a subtitle. And here's introductory text. In here you'll explain the point of the RTD, any backstory, include any images or files that people will need when they're participating in the RTD. You can put HTML in here, you can embed videos, you can do various things. You can change the font, change the colors, whatever. Alright, it's going to ask you how many questions you'd like this RTD to have. It can be a little bit confusing because there are both questions and sub-questions. So if you have 10 questions and each of them has 3 sub-questions, then the user will actually be answering 30 different things. But the questions only refer to the overarching questions. You'll see more what I mean when we keep going. I'll put in 5 questions for now. Alright, so I just received an email telling me, congratulating me on creating the RTD, giving me a link to the RTD and where I can edit the RTD. So in the email that was sent to my account automatically, it gives me the information that I need. It also will take me now to my RTD's edit page. You can see here the title, the subtitle, the introductory text. Here are the 5 questions that we requested. There are a bunch of controls up here. This one, the top left button, indicates the status of the RTD. There are, 4 different possible statuses. One is before the RTD starts. It's only available to you as the administrator and no one else. Then the next status is testing. During that phase, anyone that you've invited as a tester will be able to get in and answer the RTD. This will allow you to make sure everything's working. The next status is running. So when you start the RTD, it will become open to all of the people that you invite to it. All of the test answers from the testing phase will be deleted when it starts. So don't have anyone give any real in-depth answers during the testing phase because they're going to lose those answers. And then the final status is complete, and then no one will be able to answer it, but they will be able to see aggregated data about the answers that other people have given. Preview this RTD will take you just to see what the users would see when they went to the RTD. Invite users allows you to invite people to participate once the RTD is running. Invite admins allows you to add other people as administrators to this RTD so they can also edit the RTD. Invite testers invites testers so they can test the RTD for you during the testing phase. Edit introduction allows you to change this introductory text. Limit output. Limit output determines whether or not a user sees the answers that other users have given, and if they do see it, it sets a threshold for which a certain number of answers have to be given before they're shown. This is so if a user comes and they see that the average for a certain question is 5, but there's only one person who'd answered that, we don't want their answer to bias the answer of the user who just came. So you'll set it to like 10 answers or 5 answers or something so that the results will only be displayed once that threshold of answers has been given for any specific sub-question. Questions for demographics. This is every time a new user enters the RTD, they're given a demographics form to fill out. It asks things like age, country, profession, expertise, and whatever else you want. This is used at the end of the RTD to analyze the results, and you can sort by the various questions that you asked here. As it says right here, I'm just going to show you how we set this up. This questionnaire will be given to all users the first time they view this RTD. They will automatically be asked for their first name, last name, and country, so you do not have to ask for these things when setting up this form. How many demographics? I'd like to ask 2. And here I'll ask what I want to ask. Expertise and profession. There's various options for how this works. I'll just have a text box for both of them, but you can choose all these other things, and depending on what you choose, you'll have further steps to customize it. The form has been created. Would I like to preview it? Okay, and here it is. This is what the form will look like whenever the user enters. Is this acceptable? Sure. Alright, so these 5 questions, we need to customize these. There are various types of templates you can start with. Mostly you'll want to start with freeform, which just lets you customize a question however you'd like. So choose the starter of the question type and then click submit. And it'll start you customizing the question. Each question will include some text unless you want to leave it blank. And there'll be sub-questions like I had mentioned earlier. So the question text is the context within which these sub-questions are being asked. We'll say there are 3 sub-questions. So here it is. This is the question text that I entered for question 1, and then here are 3 sub-questions, which now need to be customized as well. There are a number of possibilities for these sub-questions. I'll take you through 3 of them, and some of the others are self-explanatory. You can try them out yourself. So input box is simple. It's just a straight input box. What is your favorite number? So, what's your favorite number? And the user will have this input box. I'll put it in, 23. Okay. For this, the second sub-question, I'll choose radio buttons. Which of these letters do you think is best? So it's a radio button question, so there'll be a certain number of possible answers that you'll want to input. I'll say that there are 4. R, G, F and A. Now this is what the question will look like. Which of these letters do you think is best? And then the radio buttons with these 4 different answers that we gave. And for this one, I'll choose sortable. I'll ask them to rank these colors from best to worst. The sortable sub-question is an ordering. One on top, one on the bottom, and then whatever goes in the middle. How many items would I like? I'll say 5. Red, blue, yellow, green, purple. And so you can see here the question, or the colors that I had entered. And the user will be able to drag these and sort them. Then you would go through all these other questions and customize them as well. I'm not going to do that right now. If you will, turns out that you want 6 questions instead of 5, you just click here, add new RTD question, and then down at the bottom it will be added. If you want to change the order of these questions, if question 2 you want to change that to question 1, just drag it up there by this little handle here on top of the question, and the order will be changed. Similarly with the sub questions, if I want the colors question to be the first sub question, I can just drag it over here, and now it is. So in terms of setting up the RTD, that's pretty much what you do. Depending on what sort of sub questions you choose, you'll be taken step by step through the process of setting them up. If you want to edit specific questions or specific sub questions, here's what you need to do. This handle at the top of the question controls that question. If I right click on this handle, I get this context menu. There are a number of options here. Add a new sub question. That'll add a sub question over here. So I have a 4th one. I'll make it just another. I'll make it a text area. So that's easy. Again, I'm right clicking on the handle of the question in order to get the context menu for that question and then edit the question. Editing the content is this question text. I can change that here. You'll see that it was changed. Then questions got reordered, so reorder them again. Change the layout. There's various layouts here. You can see them right here. The default is this, where the question text goes on the left, and then the sub questions go to the right of that. You can also choose this layout or this layout. I'll show you this one. That layout's not looking right. Alright, that one looks better. I'll have that layout fixed soon enough. Reset the question, we'll delete all of this stuff, all the sub-questions. Copy question. That will copy the question and the sub-questions, so that if you're having a number of similar questions with the same sub-questions, you can just copy this one over and over again. You don't have to do the whole thing every time. Changing the links, changing the details, changing the image. You can associate links with this question, external links. You can associate details where you mouse over a piece of text and you get some more information. You can associate an image, it'll put it up here. Changing position, that will just move it up or down. Attach a file, that'll attach a file to it from your computer. And delete the question. We'll delete the question. Each of these sub-questions also has a handle at the top. You can right-click that in order to edit it. So if I want to edit this, no, that's not doing what it's supposed to do. Anyways, you can edit these with these options. Toggle explanations. When a user enters an answer, they're given the option to write an explanation of that answer. You toggle the explanations and the user will not be given that choice, or will be given the choice. Changing the outputs. When a user answers a question, the results of that question are displayed, the cumulative results of everyone's answers. There are various ways that they can be displayed. They can be displayed in a histogram, they can be displayed numerically, they can display standard deviation, and other things. So you would go here to choose how you want the outputs to be displayed on the page. Labels. You can label certain sub-questions so that then you can analyze the data more effectively after the RTD is over. If you want various different sub-questions to be labeled with the same label, then you can aggregate using those at the end. Resetting the sub-question will reset everything. You start it over. Deleting the sub-question deletes the sub-question. Alright. I think that's all you need to know in terms of creating the RTD. If we preview it, we'll see what it is like for users. Here's our demographics questionnaire that we created. And here's our only question that we filled out. Users will submit their answers and they'll be displayed down here. Favorite number is 56. So here's the histogram display, and I can let people know that 56 is a beautiful number. And organize this. Okay. Other than the analysis at the end, this is pretty much what you need to know about RTDs.